Welcome to the shack. I'm doing this video because Oxford Shortwave Log has reached 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Originally, I didn't think it possible, and then of course it looked like it would happen, and I thought it would happen maybe around Christmas time, that I would reach 1,000 subscribers and 250,000 views. So we're nearly at 250,000 views, not quite, but I think we're at 1,010 subscribers. So, which is, yeah, amazing. Never imagined really it would be possible that that many people would be interested in my videos. And yet again, I want to say thank you to all the friends and subscribers. You guys know who you are. There was a time when it would be possible for me to list those of you with whom I have a friendship, with whom I've sought advice, some where I might have given advice, good or bad, but it's impossible now because there are so many of you whose friendship means a lot to me, and you're all over the world, and it's completely reciprocated. That I can't really mention anybody. You guys know who you are. We talk or at least communicate often enough on YouTube. There is one person, however, and that's Klaus Puth in Germany, who, due to ill health, had to give up his really great DXing blog and cut back on his DXing activities. He's now involved, I think, still in radio kind of based philately, which is something that I used to do, but in more general terms. But he is an inspiration to me, and I know that he's been an inspiration to others in amongst the DXing fraternity for many, many years, and so I just want to mention Klaus because his friendship and advice means a hell of a lot to me, and I know that it does to a lot of you guys out there as well. So, and I wish him and Annie, his wife, all the best. This is actually quite good timing because this morning, or in the early hours of this morning, I recorded Malibu on the Eaton E1, which I've just posted on the channel. So that's the first video that I've put up with the Eaton E1. I'm not sure if it's a legendary radio or not. I think the Sony ICF 2001D is a legendary radio, but the Eaton E1 is probably the only radio with the sort of all-round abilities to challenge the Sony for the title of best ever portable shortwave radio. And despite there being an awful lot of QRM here on 6250 kilohertz, the Eaton did a superb job, and by the time you see this you might have already watched the video, but I can already tell that the Eaton is going to be an amazing radio. But obviously, to test it to its full capacity, I need to take it to the woods, which I will do, and I'm excited to do that because clearly it's a brilliant radio. I did a channel update, I think last Christmas, and I think the only thing that I haven't done that I said I was going to do was set up my indoor flag antenna that I constructed from some kids' Slinky toys, and I haven't done that yet. But I think everything else I have done. So, and it's been a lot of fun. Coming up, I want to set up the 200 meter beverage again, as I did last year. I can't believe I've actually only done that once. Obviously, I've set up 100 meter long wires and 200 meter long wires several times, but I want to set up the beverage again. I've now got some a matching transformer and common mode choke from Chuck, which I thought wasn't working, but actually both are working. It was my BNC to 3.5mm jack plug sort of patch cable that I made a couple of years ago that was faulty, so I've built another one and bought a couple as backups. So I want to do that again. I'm also going to be testing the Bonito Mega Active MA305 against the Wellbrook ALA 1530 out in the woods, and in fact I might actually be doing that tonight. That's going to be really interesting because although on paper, and particularly at home, the Wellbrook is going to win that competition, you know, an H-field antenna is going to win that competition, you know, in an electrically noisy environment. I think the fact that the MA305 is so portable, you know, running via USB, and it's so small and compact and light, it completely lends itself to a DX-pedition, and it will be interesting to see what the delta on performance is. Now, based on my previous session or couple of sessions with the MA305 out in the woods, I think it's going to be very, very close. Close enough that you would probably question the price delta, which I think is a factor of 3 or a factor of 4. The performance delta isn't going to be a factor of 3 or a factor of 4. So that is something that I'm looking forward to doing, and if the weather stays good, I might even do that tonight. So there's one other radio actually, and I need to tell a little bit of a story, but I'll try to keep it short and not too boring. When I was a kid, probably not even 10, I can't remember how old I was, but maybe around 10, maybe slightly younger. I was out in Oxford with my dad one afternoon, and at the time I was already interested in radio, but I didn't own a shortwave radio at that point. But you know, my icons at the time were the sort of analog radios, you know, like the Zenith Transoceanic, you know, that kind of thing. In the UK there was the Binatone Worldstar, and some of you know I bought one from eBay. But basically the big analog radios with the analog scale, the world map with the time zones, etc. That was my idea of the ideal radio. And on that afternoon in around about 1980, I looked in a shop window and I saw this. The original Sony ICF 2001. And when I saw that radio and realised what it was, it kind of blew my mind. It looked like it had come from the future. The fact that you had a digital display, so you knew exactly what frequency you were listening to, the fact that you could input the frequency and just hit a button, enter, and it would tune immediately to that frequency. Yeah, that was a leap for me as a very young kid, and I wanted one, and they were several £100. I can't remember how much they were, but it would be more than £1,000 in today's money. And then obviously with the subsequent development of the 2001D, which is you know, a much better radio, one of the best of all time, maybe the best, and some portables from Panasonic, the RFB 60, etc., etc. My interest in the original 2001 sort of declined. But I read online that it's still, you know, a well-performing radio, even 37 years after it was introduced. But it holds a special place in my heart because it was the first digital receiver, I guess. The first receiver I'd ever seen with a, you know, where you could input the frequencies directly with, you know, phase lock loop, etc., etc. Never seen anything like it. And I was looking on eBay 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they do come up for sale, often with modifications, so with a sort of with a rotary tuning dial, which wouldn't really be of much interest to me. But I saw this radio on eBay, and it was being offered for $69.99, and it looked to be in immaculate condition. So I thought I'll cheekily make a bid, and I bid £50, and to my surprise, well, I went to a meeting because I was at work, came back from my meeting, and my offer had been accepted, and so there it is, £50, and I finally got one. And I had a little play around with it. I mean, obviously it doesn't have sync, it's not going to be in the same bracket as the 2001D, but it has a sentimental value which sort of transcends overall performance, and I'll be really interested to test this radio out, and because it'll be nice to know what I might have been able to hear back in 1980, albeit that a lot of the stations don't exist anymore, but what sort of performance you really could achieve with the world's first sort of direct tuning PLL shortwave portable. I mean, this technology existed, but only in, you know, tabletop receivers, you know, proper HF rigs. This was the first of its type in a sort of portable form. So I'm really excited about that. I can't tell you how great it is to finally own that radio. I think Thomas Witherspoon, I think he bought one a while ago, probably for similar reasons. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and that will appear on the channel as well at some point. So I've rambled on for long enough. It goes without saying, I really appreciate your friendship and your support and all the advice, particularly with the FMDX thing that I've been doing recently, which I'm completely new to. I think maybe I've been lucky because I've managed to catch some really nice DX on FM. In fact, I can remember being stood in the field a couple of months ago in June, switched on my Texan PL310ET and tuned it to 87 point something megahertz, and I was listening to a station in Italy, and that was literally the first time I'd ever really attempted it. So I've been lucky, but my thanks to those guys who've helped ID some of these stations. But in general, yeah, long may it continue. I'm going to carry on DXing as long as I can. Hopefully the channel will go from strength to strength, and hopefully you guys will continue to enjoy the videos as much as you seem to now, and likewise as much as I enjoy, you know, watching all your stuff. You know, it's a brilliant hobby, and yeah, long may it continue. Okay, well, thanks for watching.